Okay, slow down with me. Just for this moment, what if? What if your body has been listening all along? Not to noise, not to the world, but to something much older, something steady, something alive. What if there is a quiet line right here along your neck that remembers a song the earth has been singing since before words existed? Most people never touch it, not because it is hidden, but because life trained them to rush past it. Pause with me. Take one slow breath in and let it fall out gently. Did you feel that tiny release? That drop in the shoulders? That softening you didn't ask for? That wasn't imagination. That was your nervous system recognizing safety. Now imagine that calm spreading down the spine, across the chest, into the belly. Ancient healers believed the body wasn't something to fix. It was something to listen to. They spoke of a sacred line, a living pathway, a place where touch becomes communication. Today, science gives it a name. But long before names, people felt it. Bring your awareness to the side of your neck. You don't have to touch yet. Just notice. Some people describe warmth there. Some feel a gentle pulse. Some feel nothing at first. And that's okay, because this isn't about forcing sensation. It's about remembering how to listen. What if the peace you've been searching for was never missing? What if it's been waiting right beneath your skin? People who stumble upon this place often say strange things. Not dramatic things. Honest things. I suddenly felt safe. I didn't realize how tired I was. It felt like silence moved through me. No visions. No fireworks. Just a deep, unmistakable calm. Here's the truth few people talk about. Your body already knows how to settle itself. It just needs permission. In this space, along this gentle line, your system shifts out of survival and back into rhythm, not because you believe in it, but because your biology recognizes it. Stay with me. Because in this video, you're not just going to learn where this place is, you're going to feel why it matters. Before we go any further, pause for a moment. Ask yourself something quietly. What if my body has been waiting for me to slow down? If something in you feels drawn here, trust that this channel, the Spine Gosp, exists for moments like this. Moments where the body speaks before the mind catches up. Tap subscribe gently. Not out of habit, but as a soft yes to yourself. If you feel it, like it, share it. Let someone else remember too. Now, take one more slow breath with me. And when you're ready, we'll unlock this together. For a long time, people believed the body was silent, that it only reacted, that it needed control. But ancient cultures saw something very different. They believed the body was always speaking, just quietly. Long before modern anatomy charts, healers understood that certain places in the body were not mechanical. They were relational. You didn't press them to fix something. You approached them to listen. One of those places runs gently along the side of the neck. Not a point, not a button, a pathway. In many traditions, this area was never treated as muscle or bone alone. It was seen as a doorway, a passage where the inner world and the outer world meet. Today, science gives this pathway a name. It is closely connected to the vagus nerve, a major communication line of the nervous system. But long before that name existed, people noticed something. When this area was touched softly, the breath changed. The heart slowed. The mind loosened its grip. They didn't explain it with theories. They explained it with experience. This is why ancient practices were slow. Why hands moved gently. Why silence mattered more than effort. They weren't trying to stimulate the body. They were allowing it to respond. Modern science now understands that the vagus nerve plays a key role in calming the body. It helps shift us out of constant alertness, out of tension, out of survival mode. It connects the brain to the heart, to the lungs, to the gut. It carries messages in both directions, not just from the brain down, but from the body up. This means your body is not waiting for instructions. It is already informing their mind about safety, stress, and balance. When this pathway senses gentleness, the nervous system receives a clear signal. You are safe now. This isn't mystical language. It's biological. Stanley Rosenberg, in his book Accessing the Healing Power of the Vagus Nerve, explains that this nerve acts as a bridge between our internal organs and our emotional state. He writes that when vagal tone improves, the body naturally shifts toward calm, social connection, and regulation. In simple terms, when this pathway is supported, the body remembers how to rest. Ancient healers didn't need that explanation. They observed it. They noticed that people became quieter inside, less reactive, more present, not because something was added, but because something unnecessary fell away. Over time, as life became louder, faster, and more demanding, this listening was lost. Touch became functional, medical, urgent. The doorway was still there, but fewer people approached it gently enough to feel it open. This is why so many people today live in a constant state of tension without realizing it. The shoulders lifted, the jaw tight, the breath shallow. The body adapts, but it never forgets what calm feels like. This pathway along the neck is part of that memory. It is not a trick, not a shortcut, not a promise of instant change. It is simply a place where the nervous system is close to the surface, where touch can speak clearly when approached slowly. This area reminds the body that it doesn't need to be on guard. That's why people often feel emotional when they first connect with it. Not because something dramatic happens, but because something familiar returns, a sense of being held internally. As you listen to this, notice your own body. Not to analyze it, just to acknowledge it. The body responds to acknowledgement, and this forgotten doorway doesn't open through effort. It opens through presence. That understanding sets the foundation for everything that follows. For a long time, science and spirituality were placed on opposite sides, as if one canceled the other out. But the body never agreed with that separation, because the body responds to what is real, not to what we believe. This is where modern science quietly meets ancient knowing. Inside your nervous system, there are two main states. One prepares you to protect yourself. The other allows you to rest, heal, and connect. Most people live in the first one, far more than they realize. Heart beating a little too fast, breath staying a little too shallow, muscles always slightly ready. This is not a failure. It is adaptation, but the body was never meant to stay there all the time. The calming state is known as the parasympathetic response. It is not something you switch on with effort. It turns on when the body senses safety. One of the strongest messengers of that safety is the vagus nerve. This nerve travels from the brain downward, touching the throat, the heart, the lungs, and the digestive system. It listens constantly, not to thoughts, to signals. Touch, breath, tone of voice, stillness. When the vagus nerve senses gentleness, it sends a message upward. We are okay now. This is why slow breathing changes how you feel. Why a soft voice calms you faster than logic. Why gentle touch can quiet the mind before the mind understands why. It is not belief. It is biology. Dr. Stephen Porges, through decades of research, explained this through what he called polyvagal theory. His work showed that the nervous system is always scanning for cues of safety or threat, and it responds automatically. You don't need to think your way into calm. Your body feels its way there. This is also why touch along the side of the neck matters. In that area, the vagus nerve runs close to the surface. It is not buried deep. It is accessible. When that region experiences slow, respectful contact, the nervous system receives a signal it recognizes immediately. No instruction needed. Bessel Van der Kolk, in The Body Keeps the Score, explains that the body stores patterns of stress and safety beyond conscious memory. He writes that the nervous system responds to physical cues long before the rational brain catches up. That means calm can arrive before explanation. This is why people often say, "I don't know why, but I feel better." The body knows why. Another concept often misunderstood is energy. When ancient texts spoke of energy pathways, they were not imagining something unreal. They were describing felt experience. Today, science uses different language. Electrical signals, neural communication, heart rhythms, different words. Same reality. Your heart produces an electromagnetic field. So does your brain. When the nervous system shifts into a regulated state, those rhythms become more coherent, smoother, more ordered. People experience this as clarity, as quiet, as a sense of being whole. This is not mysticism detached from reality. It is observation. Stanley Rosenberg wrote that when vagal tone improves, people naturally feel more grounded, socially open, and emotionally stable. Not because they tried to change their emotions, but because their nervous system changed the environment those emotions live in. This is why this works even if you don't believe in it. Belief is not required for digestion to happen, or for your heart to beat, or for your breath to respond to relaxation. The nervous system does not ask for faith. It responds to conditions. Gentle touch, slow breath, non-threatening attention. These are universal signals. What ancient traditions wrapped in symbolism, science now confirms through measurement. Asterisk, not to replace the sacred, but to explain why it was sacred in the first place. When you understand this, something important shifts. You stop trying to force calm. You stop blaming yourself for tension. You begin to work with your body instead of against it. And once body feels understood, it becomes willing to soften. That understanding prepares you for next step. Because knowing why something works is different from feeling it happen. And feeling it is where real change begins. Now we slow this down even more, because this is not a technique you perform. It is a conversation you enter. Before you touch anything, check your position. Sit comfortably. Feet supported. Spine not rigid. Just upright enough to breathe easily. If you're watching this on your phone, you don't need to change anything. Just bring your attention here. Let your hands rest for a moment. Notice their temperature. Notice weight of them. Touch works best when body does not feel rushed. Now bring one hand up slowly. Not both. One is enough. Place 2 fingers gently on the side of your neck. Not front where you swallow. Not back where muscles tighten. Soft space in between. There is no exact spot to hit. If you're searching, you're trying too hard. Let your fingers rest there, like they're listening. Not pressing. Not poking. Imagine you're touching someone you care about deeply. That level of gentleness. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and let it out through mouth. Longer on the exhale. Your fingers stay still. The breath does work. If it helps, imagine a soft golden light under your fingertips. Not bright, warm, steady. You are not trying to send energy. You are allowing sensation. Now notice what your body does on its own. Throat may soften. Jaw may loosen. Breath may deepen without instruction, or nothing may happen yet. All of this is correct. Listening does not demand a response. This area responds best to patience. After a few breaths, you may lightly adjust your fingers. Just a few millimeters. Still soft. This is not massage. This is contact. If at any point you feel urged to sigh, let it happen. That is nervous system releasing pressure. Now try a second variation. Keep your fingers where they are, and hum softly on exhale. Not loud, not musical, just a gentle vibration. This vibration travels through throat and chest. It gives vagus nerve another signal. Safe, slow, present. You might feel a subtle wave move downward, into chest, into belly, or you might feel emotional for no clear reason. That is not weakness. That is regulation. Stanley Rosenberg explains that gentle stimulation combined with breath can help the nervous system reorganize itself toward balance. Not by force, but by invitation. If humming feels uncomfortable, skip it. Listening always comes first. There's a third option if you prefer not to touch the neck. Place one hand over the center of your chest, the other just below the collarbone. Feel the rise and fall. This also communicates safety through the same pathway. Different bodies respond to different entrances. There is no hierarchy here. Now pause for a second. I want to ask you something. Where are you watching this video from right now? Your bed? A couch? A quiet room? Somewhere unexpected. Notice how your body feels in that place. The nervous system is always responding to environment. That's why this works best when you feel supported. If you feel distracted, that's okay. Gently return to sensation. Short breaths. Long exhales. This is where touch becomes listening. You are not doing something to your body. You are hearing it. Nodea Judith, in Eastern Body, Western Mind, writes about how awareness and gentle contact allow energy pathways to reorganize naturally when the body feels safe enough to do so. In simple words, when the body trusts you, it opens. You don't need to hold this touch for long. 30 seconds is enough. A minute is plenty. More is not better. The goal is not intensity. It is recognition. As you slowly remove your hand, notice what stays. The breath may remain slower, the shoulders lower, the mind quieter. That means the message was received, not by effort, but by presence. This is the foundation. From here, the effects unfold on their own. At some point, something subtle shifts. Not suddenly, not dramatically. Quietly. People often expect a sensation they can describe. A rush, a spark. But what arrives is usually simpler than that. A pause inside. The mind slows its commentary. The body stops bracing, and in that space, something familiar appears. Silence. Empty silence. Living silence. Some people feel emotion rise. Tears without a story. A soft ache in the chest that isn't pain. Others feel warmth spreading, or a gentle heaviness like being tucked in. Some feel almost nothing at first, just neutral. And that, too, is a sign, because neutrality is what the nervous system feels like when it's not defending itself. This is what many traditions meant by the inner song. Not a sound you hear with your ears, but a rhythm you recognize. It's the body moving back into its natural pace. When the nervous system shifts into regulation, internal noise fades. Thoughts don't disappear. They simply lose urgency. You may notice your breath becoming quieter, your heartbeat less demanding. This isn't something you make happen. It happens when effort steps aside. Eckhart Tolle describes this state in The Power of Now as a return to presence, where body and mind stop resisting the moment. He writes that when attention rests in body, thinking naturally softens, and a deeper intelligence takes the lead. That intelligence is not mystical in way people fear. It's practical. It tells body when to rest, when to digest, when to let go. Many people are surprised by how emotional calm can feel unfamiliar, almost exposed. That's because tension has been acting like armor for a long time. When armor loosens, vulnerability shows itself briefly. Not to harm you, but to remind you that you're alive. This is why people often say, "I didn't know how much I was holding." The body doesn't judge that holding. It simply releases when it feels safe enough. Take a moment now and ask yourself something quietly. What did your body notice before your mind did? There's no right answer, just honesty. This inner shift doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means your system stops fighting itself. And that changes everything that comes after. What you've just experienced is not something to schedule or perfect. It's not a routine to follow with discipline. It's a remembrance you return to when the body asks. That's an important difference, Because routines live in the mind. Remembrance lives in the body. This practice works best when it stays small. 30 seconds. A minute, before sleep when the world finally quiets. Or in the morning, before the day begins asking things of you. You don't need silence. You don't need candles. You don't need the right mood. You only need honesty. If the day has been heavy. Your touch can be lighter. If the mind feels busy. Your breath can be slower. That's how the body learns trust. Over time something changes, not overnight. Not dramatically, but subtly sleep becomes deeper. Reactions soften. Moments of calm appear without effort. You may notice that stressful situations don't pull you as far off center. That your breath returns faster. That your body recovers more easily. This is not because life stops being challenging. It's because your nervous system stops staying on guard when it doesn't need to. The body begins to recognize safety more quickly. And when safety becomes familiar, clarity follows. You might even find yourself reaching for this touch without thinking. In moments of overwhelm, in moments of gratitude, that's the body remembering on its own. There's nothing to force here. Nothing to improve. If some days you forget, nothing is lost. Pathway does not close. It waits. This is why this practice doesn't ask for consistency. It asks for kindness. Kindness toward sensation. Kindness toward your pace. And slowly, body responds in kind. As you listen now, notice something. Does idea of slowing down feel comforting? Or uncomfortable? Both answers are information. The body always tells truth. This gentle remembrance is not meant to replace anything in your life. It simply supports you from underneath. So that whatever you're carrying, you're not carrying it alone. And when body feels supported, it knows exactly what to do next. Take a moment before you move on. Not to do anything. Just to notice. Notice how your body feels now compared to when this video began. Even if the change is small. Even if you can't put words to it, that difference matters. Because the earth never stopped singing. And your body never stopped listening. It was only waiting for noise to soften. For centuries, people searched outside themselves for peace, for guidance, for healing. But the wisdom was never far away. It was woven into breath. Into touch. Into the quiet intelligence of nervous system. Nothing you felt today came from me. I didn't give you anything. I only reminded you where to listen. That's the heart of the Spine Gospel. Not teaching the body something new, but helping it remember what it already knows. As you go back into your day, you don't need to hold on to this moment. Let it dissolve naturally. The calm you touch doesn't disappear. It integrates. It shows up later when you pause before reacting. When your breath deepens without effort. When you place a hand on your chest without knowing why. That's the song continuing. Before you leave, I want to hear from you. Where were you watching this video from? A quiet room? Your bed? Somewhere in between moments? And what did you notice first in your body? The breath? The shoulders? A sense of quiet? There's no right answer. Your experience matters. If this felt supportive, let me know by liking the video. If something didn't resonate, it's okay to dislike it too. Your honesty helps shape what comes next. And if you feel called, share a few words in the comments. Not to explain, just to acknowledge what you felt. If this opens something inside you, there are other gentle doorways we can explore together. Small places. Simple touches. The kind the body understands immediately. You're always welcome here. Take one last slow breath. And when you're ready,